everyone, just wanted to jump on here and do a little live video because my apologies that I didn't get it done earlier this week. I've actually been a little bit, well, I've been very busy and then I've been a little bit unwell, I think, from being so busy. But anyway, yeah, so sorry I didn't get that done. So I thought I'll just jump on quickly and do a little Q&A so we can get it done for this week and talk about the topics I wanted to chat about. So one of the questions I got, thank you Jess for popping that one in, is what can you do to treat an older horse? So that's a great question. And you know I love my older horses. I've got two. I've got Squirrel here. She's about, I don't know, 18, 19 maybe. And we have the wonderful Tess as well. Tess is about 26, 27, not quite sure. So I love my older horses and I love the idea of treating them and making them feel part of the family. That's a big thing for me and well taken care of. Okay, so the first things first when it comes to treating an older horse, or any horse for that matter, is first of all, if it's your horse or if it's someone else's horse. So if it's your horse, you know what is appropriate to do with it. If it's not your horse, make sure you get permission from the owner before you do any of the things I'm going to suggest with the horse, just in case there's a reason they don't want you to do it. So that's a big tip there. So in terms of older horses, I think it's really important that the older horse, especially if they are retired, they still get the TLC and still are treated like a family member. That's, I think, really important for their sense of well-being and being a part of the family, is that they still get taken care of and they still get all of the basic care needs that your younger horses do. So in terms of that, I think ticking the box first and foremost is making sure the basic needs are met in terms of their diet, their feet, their teeth, and their vet care. So ticking those boxes, I think, is really important for your older horse, and maybe just checking in and saying, oh yeah, when did I last get that stuff done? And making sure you keep on top of it for the older horse. If anything, it's more important as they get older. Of course, I'm going to advocate that you book a massage for your older horse. It's really beneficial for the older horse to get massaged by a qualified professional. In terms of their specific needs, it really helps a lot with circulation and helps to groom their coat and gives them that tactile care and attention that's really good for your older horse. Especially as they get older, sometimes they struggle to move around and they struggle to roll over properly and things like that. So a massage can really help to get everything moving again and help your horse feel loved and appreciated. So definitely really like to give the older horses massages, and I've had several bookings where I've massaged horses well and truly retired in their 30s, and just to give them a bit of love. So it's a really great thing you can do for them, and often they move better afterwards and they look a bit brighter and happier because they've had that attention. So that's pretty cool. Other things you could do, depending on if there's any issues in particular with the horse, is you could look at getting a qualified person to do some other form of body work like chiropractic or even veterinary acupuncture, if that's appropriate, if there's something specific going on. From my experience, I've had both of those done on older horses and it's been quite beneficial. So another thing you can do for your older horse is just give them a really good grooming session. Again, like I said, they often can't move as well, they can't roll as well, they struggle a little bit more to lose their coat. So if you give them a really nice groom, they will appreciate it very much, especially now we're coming into spring. Yeah, they'll really like that. So that's a great thing you can do for the older horse. Another thing you can do if the horse, you see it regularly enough, is do some carrot stretches with them. Again, they're not too old to have that mobility and flexibility, and really beneficial for the older horse, especially because you're releasing through the back and the neck. And just like us, they're bits that get quite stiff on the older horse as well. So if you can look at the carrot stretch routine on my Facebook page, that could help the older horse quite a lot. And I did a study just of my own with Tess. Like I said, she's at 26, 27. I did a study on her posture from doing carrot stretches and definitely improved everything, lifted and got more solid. So that's a really cool thing to do. In terms of the older horse as well, another thing you could do to spend quality time with them is to, if they're not ridden anymore, so they're not really using their brain as much in terms of learning ridden exercise, is to look at a bit of groundwork or some trick training with them. They're really cool things you can do with the older horse. In terms of trick training or using treats, if the horse is old and their teeth are missing, you can use, instead of carrots, you can use things like bananas or grapes. They might be happy with that, or some smaller treats. Might be easier for them to chew if their teeth are missing. Another thing I like to promote for all horses is taking them for a walk. So just like a dog, they get a bit bored sitting in the same yard or the same paddock. So if you take them out for a walk, that can be really great for the horse. You know, just a bit of change of scenery, fresh, bigger grass, and they can really work wonders with them, especially if you do it regularly enough. You can walk them over poles if they're mobile enough to do that. That's a really good thing to help strengthen their stomach and back as well, and just to, you know, make mobilize the joints as well. You can take them for a swim. I've found that really great for older horses, is if you can do so, taking them for a swim is really good, because it actually helps not only their overall sense of well-being, a bit of an adventure, but it can also really help that feeling of weightlessness, and really relieve the tired sort of body and the aching joints. To get in the water and be weightless can be really nice for the older horse. One of the main things I like to do with older horses is just spend some quality time with them. So whether it's your horse or you have permission of someone else's horses, you know, if you just get in the paddock with them and even just, you know, sit down, read a book, spend time with them, horses really benefit from that. They really like that feeling of being a part of the family and being noticed and acknowledged. And sometimes they just want to spend quiet time with you. It doesn't mean you have to be all over them. Just being there with them can be really good for their self-esteem. Yeah, I think that's about it in terms of my tips for treating the older horse. Just one of the training treats I use actually has coconut and turmeric in it, which have some benefits for the older horse in particular. So coconut and turmeric, they're anti-inflammatory, have antioxidants, they can help with skin conditions, and good for the stomach and good for the coat. So they're just some nice training treats you can get for the older horse that have that extra benefit to help support their body. Okay, so that's it for the treats for the older horse. Just let me know how you go with those, and if you have any questions, just, you know who I am, just send me a message. That'd be great. I'd love to hear what you think the older horse likes or doesn't like. If you want to just pop a comment on this, and, you know, anything I've missed that you think the older horse really likes and appreciates that can make them feel special, please go ahead. Okay, so this is the second Q&A, and I'm going to only do the two tonight. But the second Q&A, and I get asked a lot, is what about joint supplements and treatments? So I get asked this a lot, and I have to preface it with that I'm not a vet, so I'm not an expert on joint supplements and medication. I'm only going to give you the tips based on what my research has been and what my anecdotal evidence and experience has been to do with the joint supplements and what can and can't work from my experience. So please, if you have any questions about these, I always suggest that you go and chat to your vet, even chat with your feed rep as well. They can often have good references for you and really get down into the detail of what's going on with your horse and if it needs a joint supplement or medication, and what's the best one for it. That being said, I do have a few supplements that come up time and time again that a lot of people seem to use and have success with, so good starting point for that conversation. The first one, and one that I use and have had clients use with a lot of success, is one called Foresight. The name for it is Epitalis Fort, and it's an oil extractor of a tree that's native to China and has been used in Chinese medicine. The way that it's extracted and processed by the company is patented, so that's important to realise, this Foresight. What it does is it repairs cartilage and provides pain relief, and it can be used to treat osteoarthritis in dogs, horses and humans, and it's actually backed up by clinical studies. So it's a good one to try, and like I said, I've had some success with it recently. I've tried it for squirrel and definitely saw a difference. And it's a bit expensive, so I was, thinking, oh, maybe it won't work, but it did work, so so that was good. Yeah, so it can repair and protect damaged joints and maintain the joint health. Another one, like these are sort of the top tier items, another one that people will get done is Pentacen Gold, which is injected by the vet. So that's something you have to talk with your vet about and discuss as to whether or not it's suitable for your horse. So that's a Pentacen polysulfate and glucosamine injection, which is the way it acts is it's an anti-inflammatory and it stimulates the cartilage synthesis, repair and protection. So that's what you hear about Pentacen. You're probably wanting the Pentacen Gold, which has the added effect of the glucosamine as well. Another one that you see in different blends is blends of MSM, chondroitin and glucosamine powder. So again, this has been backed up by studies as well in people, and they use it to treat osteoarthritis. It helps with connective tissues, cartilage, bones and hooves, supports healthy skin and coat, and inflammatory joint disorders and muscle damage. And the clinical trials that have been done on people suggest that it does help with pain relief for arthritis. So it's a good one to keep an eye out for. The studies did show that it does take some time for the effect to take place. So, and probably similar to a lot of these things, you can't expect an overnight change. So you might have to stick with them for a bit to get the result. Another one that I've heard of and had a bit of experience with, but probably haven't stuck with myself long enough to see a result, is hyaluronic acid. So this in the past has been used a lot as a injection, but at the moment the jury is a little bit out on the injections in terms of the benefit versus the risk of injections. So best to talk with your vet about what is the latest advice on hyaluronic acid injections versus oral supplements. The studies that they're seeing seem to see that the oral supplement is absorbed by the horse and shows some benefit. So what it does is it protects and boosts the synovial fluid of the joints. This fluid, which allows the shock absorbing properties and the elastic properties to the joint fluid, and it protects cartilage from damage to the joint. So adds that liquid to the joint. It's useful in the early stages of osteoarthritis in order to support and improve joint flexibility, resilience, and also improves the skin elasticity, which is why you sometimes see it in human skincare as well. Is a hyaluronic acid helps with the skin elasticity. The studies that I found on that seem to indicate that it's suitable for the early stages of arthritis. There's less studies to show how well it works on older or more chronic forms of arthritis. So again, something to chat with your vet about or your feed rep. In terms of that supplement in particular, it does seem to be, from my research, that hyaluronic acid, there's variances in the potency depending on the quality of the ingredients. So best to chat with the feed person and get a reputable source for that. Another thing that we see a lot in for people and animals is your omega-3, 6 and 9, which can help with the skin and joint conditions. Overall, the omega-3, 6 and 9 can help. They can support other joint supplements, and they can help tissue repair, and they can control inflammation and boost immune support. So it's about optimal functioning overall for the animal, which can then be boosted by adding those omega-3, 6 and 9 into their diet. Another one that you see make the rounds is your turmeric, so curcumin. And again, studies have shown that it has potent anti-inflammatory properties. For osteoarthritis, I've actually found that it can regulate proteins which break down cartilage, so it can help to regulate that action, the progress of osteoarthritis, and it can also minimise the death of cartilage cells. So that's from the research I could find, is that it actually has some pretty important ways of helping with protecting cartilage. as well as the anti-inflammatory properties, which you may already be aware of. Another one here is a Rosehip Vital. So I've heard anecdotal recommendations about Rosehip Vital. So Rosehip Vital is rose hips that have been processed by that particular company in a patented way. The studies that they had available on their website indicate that it can assist in rebuilding and protecting the cartilage, can provide pain relief, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. It gives a big boost of vitamin C, which then supports the overall well-being of the horse. It's rich in vitamin C and antioxidants. I've had a few people tell me lately that the Rosehip Vitals, they've found it beneficial. So just to summarise, so the ones that I've just discussed was the Foresight, Epitalis Fort, Pentosan Gold, Equine MSM, Chondroitin, Glucosamine powder, which usually comes as a all-in-one, your Hyaluronic Acid, oral or injections, omega-3, 6 and 9, and the curcumin turmeric, as well as the Rosehip Vital. The sort of supplements and medicines that I have done a bit of research on and heard client cases as well about. So yeah, like I said, I'm not an expert on all these. Have a chat to your vet or your feed rep about what's the best on the market at the moment, but hopefully this can help you a little bit just to give you some names for what's out there. The last thing I just want to discuss, which I've had some personal and anecdotal sort of experience with and that I've seen some benefit for when you're considering joint formulas or lameness, and you got some lameness, especially hind end lameness in the horse. Sometimes hind leg lameness, if it's more of a neurological base, so something like a string halt or shivers. So if you've had a horse that's had that string halt symptoms, they might actually benefit from a mitotoxin binder or a gut health program to actually clear those toxins out, and then that will benefit the way they move. So that's something to be mindful of in terms of the ones that I've tried or that I've heard of that work well is your High Gain Safeguard, which is a broad spectrum mitotoxin binder, which is absorbs the mycotoxins, so the mycotoxins are the mold on the plant that causes the issues in the first place with those neuro symptoms in the horse. Another one that I've been hearing a lot about is Digestive EQ, which is a fore and hind gut digestive, which supports the immune system with the enzymes, amino acids, and antioxidants. Again, I've heard quite a few people lately recommend that and say that it's helped their horse when they've had sort of a lameness or a stiffness of unknown origin. So sometimes it can be good to give your horse a program of that, follow the orders on the feed supplement or follow your feed guide and how you feed that and for how long. But then a few other things that you can think about, especially if your horse has had symptoms of string halt, that sort of thing, which we had in quite a few horses after the drought here locally. So yeah, and a few other things to think about. So I hope that helps in terms of joint supplements, and I'll be following these Q&As up with some vlogs down the track, so you can read the information and have it all in one place. But hopefully that helps a little bit with joint supplements and talking about the older horse and how you can treat the older horse. I think I made it pretty clear, but I'm not sure if I really said it enough in terms of joints and older horses as well. Is I've found for myself anyway that first of all, addressing if there is a serious pain issue, getting on top of the anti-inflammatory sort of properties and pain relief is really good. But then from there, if your horse is able to move around a bit, often when they can move within their limits, it really helps them. It's like that motion is lotion. So definitely I've noticed that an older horse that is used in lightly in whatever its capacity is, rather than just left in the paddock to its own devices where they start to seize up and the arthritis and inflammation gets worse because they get more stocked up. Sometimes even if you take the horse for a light walk or whatever, and you can gradually increase the exercise if it's able to, then I've found personally that has benefited my horses a lot in terms of their arthritis and joint pain symptoms, is working on getting their body a bit fitter and more active, and that's allowed then the joints a bit of relief rather than being sort of standing around and getting more aggravated and inflamed. So there's some things to think about, and I think that's a good one to end it on, is that look after your older horses, treat the joint health as best as you can with the advice of your vet, and also bring your feed reps in as well. And good luck with it all. If there's any joint supplements or any things for the older horse that I haven't commented on, please put a comment in below and we can share the knowledge and yeah, get it out there about things that you found that work for you. All right, thanks guys. Bye.